Giannis's road to the NBA Finals was seen as not difficult and a very easy path. Well, in this video, I'm going to be disproving all of those claims. I'm going to show you guys why Giannis had one of the craziest NBA Finals runs we've seen in a very long time. Now, of course, before I get into the video, if you guys could leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on post notifications. Also, check out my brand new second channel, Specs Live. I'm posting stream highlights on there every single day. Let's get into the video. The past couple seasons, and it's been really popular this season, we've seen the term fraudulent ring or Mickey Mouse ring, essentially saying that a team had a pretty easy ring, which I honestly don't think is a real thing. At the end of the day, an NBA championship is an NBA championship. To win off the regular season, the Milwaukee Bucks had a 46-26 record, having a 64 win percentage. It was good enough for the third seed, but I think we all assumed that Milwaukee would just get bounced in the second or third round. To start off their playoff run, they had to play against the Miami Heat, who were one of the best teams last season, making the NBA Finals, so they ironically had to beat the Bucks to get there. I think we all expected a pretty good series, but Giannis had series, having 23 and 15, averaging 45% from the field. Now, if you think sweeping the former Eastern Conference defending champions, you should see how they had to play against the now runner. After that series, however, they had to play the Brooklyn Nets, who were the easy favorites to win the championship that year. I mean, but come on, it's not like the Milwaukee Bucks would actually beat the Brooklyn for three. Well, I guess I was wrong. Now, they next had to play against the Atlanta Hawks, which seemed like an easier matchup because they upset the Philadelphia 76ers, but nevertheless, this was still going to be a tough matchup, right?
An Atlanta team that beat the Knicks in 5, upset the Sixers in 7, then lose to the Bucks in 6.
I think we're starting to see a pattern right here where Giannis is playing like an MVP caliber player and he's leading his team to the finals, which we have not seen these past couple seasons. The Bucks have always been that regular season team, but they've never been able to turn it on in the playoffs. Well, this is not the case for this season. Now, this Milwaukee and Phoenix series had to be the best series we could have got in this situation. We all knew this was being a good matchup, but the question is, could Milwaukee beat the hot Phoenix Suns? Because the Phoenix Suns were one of the toughest teams to beat right now, and they were one of the hot teams coming into this postseason.
It's over. The Bucks have done it.
With no shock at all, Giannis ended up winning Finals MVP with 35 and 13, 62% from the field, and winning an NBA championship from Milwaukee like he set out to do. Now that you guys know how the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA Finals and how Giannis had a productive postseason, let's talk about how this is not a fraudulent ring. Now, contrary to popular belief, just about every single championship run has had a fraudulent ring, and I'm going to show you some proof right here. Here's a cool little graph I saw on Instagram showing an asterisk next to every ring if we were going to do that. Now, in 2021, obviously, we have a lot with the Kawhi injury, 2020, the Bam injury, and the Goran Dragic injury. 2019, KD and Klay went down. 2018, Chris Paul. You can read the list. You can clearly see it. These definitely did all to the finals. If you go back and see, like, these definitely were the reasons why a certain team won. You start to break it down and kind of realize the Milwaukee Bucks didn't have that much luck going their way. Now, yes, we can make the excuse in the Brooklyn Nets series. However, though, Kevin Durant was 1 inch away from hitting the game-winning three to end the series. Yes, James Harden and Kyrie Irving were both injured, but first of all, James Harden got injured at the beginning of the series, and when he came back, he played like ass. Now, an interesting stat I was going to use for a Bill Russell video that I never created is called the SRS score. If you don't know what an SRS score is, I'm going to try to break it down as much as possible. So when it comes down to essentially, if we're talking about NBA Finals runs, we add up every single score of each team that they played. So we'd add up the Miami Heat's SRS score, the Atlanta Hawks SRS score, the Suns, and the Brooklyn Nets. We'd add all of their scores up, and the score is based on essentially win margins and how many games they won and how much they won by. It's a complex stat to say the least. So with that being said, I took the liberty of counting every single matchup and seeing what the total SRS score was, and the total SRS score for the Milwaukee Bucks run was 12.11. Now, you might be saying, okay, well, how good is that? How does that like compare to every other NBA Finals that we've seen? Now, one of my favorite YouTubers that a lot of you guys probably know about is named Jimmy High Roller. Now, Jimmy High Roller made a video, I think it was last season, talking about we found out the most hardest championship based on numbers, which he used the SRS score. So with that being said, that's how I came up with this. So we're going to be comparing this to everything last season. Now, obviously, it was only one season, so it's not that much of a difference. On the screen right now is the same graph that Jimmy High Roller used in his videos, so we have a pretty good idea of where the Milwaukee Bucks stand. Now, if we do look, they would be placed right around 25th, around 25th in the highest SRS score for an NBA championship run. Now, I don't want you guys to think just because the Bucks had a 12.11 means that they had a worse championship run than most teams. If we look at the Lakers, they were at number 30 35, which is very low, because then we could obviously see the Bucks had a harder championship run than the Lakers. If you look where it stacks higher than that Celtics championship that they won with Paul Pierce and all them. It stacks higher than the Spurs championship that they won. It stacks higher than the Miami Heat championship they won with LeBron and other Lakers championships. A lot of Lakers championships actually. It also stacks higher than Jordan's first NBA championship run that he had. While it's not one of the top SRS scores, we can definitely see that it was indeed a still hard championship run. That's why you see it kind of being like a little bit of a dark yellow. It's getting to the like high, but it's not exactly one of the hardest ones. It's hard to explain. And if you want me to give another personal take, I really do believe this was a harder championship run based off the fact that there were no super teams. And in the last couple of years when it came to championships, we've seen mostly super teams, and this is not a super team. All these players except Drew Holiday came from originally the Bucks, or they were drafted or they were trades. Yes, they have 3 star players and 1 superstar, obviously being Giannis, but they didn't have all these all-star caliber players like we saw a lot of teams have. The Suns were also not a super team, which is why this is one of the more tougher finals that we've seen. If it was a Suns versus Nets finals, we obviously would have had the Nets winning, and that's a fact because they're a super team. Let's also not forget that Giannis had a crazy leg injury that almost costed him his playoff run. Without Giannis, there is no Bucks championship run. Giannis is the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, Chris Middleton is a good player. Drew Holiday is a good player. Brook Lopez is a good supporting cast. But Giannis is the only reason this team is here. As a Phoenix Suns fan, it was so hard to watch the Milwaukee Bucks win the finals. But I will say this. I think Giannis is an amazing player. I love Giannis as a player. And I'm trying not to be biased whatsoever in this video. But Giannis is a talented player and will be the face of the league, I believe, in not even 5 years in my personal opinion. He's a great player, he's a likable guy, and he has the championship mindset that you need to lead a team. Giannis gets disrespected in the NBA because a lot of people see him as a run and dunk player, but I do think this NBA Finals did disprove that. He's not just a run and dunk player. It's also not his fault that he's 6'10", really fast, and is able to do the moves that he can do. He has a good Euro step, he does have a good layup package, he has a good post-up package. What can you expect? He's a freak of nature. That he's literally called the Greek freak. I'm someone that believes that obviously an NBA championship is an NBA championship, so I don't think Mickey Mouse or fraud rings actually exist. But in the sense that we're talking about that they do exist, this is not a fraud ring, this is not a fraud run, and Giannis had an amazing season. The Milwaukee Bucks, the Phoenix Suns made the NBA Finals because they played the opponent in front of them, and you can't do anything if the opponent in front of you is injured. Now one side had to play not so injured teams, the other side did have to play somewhat injured teams to a point. Something crazy to think about is that Giannis is only 26. This man is, I don't even know if this is his prime. This may not even be his prime. He could start hitting threes and the NBA would be over. He'd be the face of the league. I think this was all a championship run that we all necessarily enjoyed. We all like Giannis, and I can't really see someone that does hate the man. Anyways, with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, I haven't made a video like this in a while, and I really did enjoy making this. This took a long time, so you guys could leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on post notifications, tell me what you guys thought about Giannis' championship run this year. Let me know if you guys thought it was at all a Mickey Mouse ring. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have an amazing day. Take care. Peace.